Okay, hello everyone. This is the first speakers event of the term, so I want to say thank you for all showing up. It's really nice to see some new faces and familiar ones. And today we get to welcome Spencer Rascoff. So Spencer is an accomplished entrepreneur, executive and investor, and we welcome him here to the Cambridge Union today. Many of you will know Spencer as the co-founder of Zillow, a pioneer platform that reshaped how people buy homes. But today, he joins us as the CEO of Match Group, parent company of Tinder, Hinge, Match.com, and many more. Spencer has spent his career at the intersection of technology and human behavior, asking big questions about trust, identity, and connection in the digital age. Tonight, we get to hear from him, not just as a business leader, but as a thinker of love, loneliness, and the future of relationships. Please join me in welcoming Spencer Rascoff.
Thank you.
Take a seat. So I think to begin, before we get into the realms of the Match Group, it would be great to know, as an entrepreneur and a co-founder of companies such as Zillow Group, can you share a bit about your story and what lessons you've learned as an entrepreneur, and how do you apply your entrepreneurial skills that you've learned to your current role?
Sure. I love being a company founder. I've now started over 10 companies, and what I look for when starting companies is a problem that I have that I care deeply about. There's no such thing as just a great founder. There's only a great founder for a particular problem or a particular idea. And the key to being a great founder is being able to attract other great people towards your mission, towards your cause. And when I've been able to do that successfully, great things have happened. I'm not the founder of Match Group, but in some ways I'm trying to sort of recast it, remold it in my image. But if you can find a problem that you feel so deeply about, that you can't think about anything else, that you wake up in the morning obsessed with, you go to sleep at night obsessed with solving that problem, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like fun.
I mean, that sounds like bliss. And since becoming CEO of Match Group in 2025, you've been at the forefront of online dating, which I think a lot of us are familiar with here. How do you view modern dating at the moment? And in what ways do you see romantic relationships evolving in an area where so many connections that we make, so many initial introductions are made online?
Well, sadly, you're a member of the loneliest generation. There's a loneliness epidemic globally. I'm sure you're not lonely, or I hope you're not lonely, but it plagues society, and it's a huge global existential problem. It contributes to depression and sadness, and it's the most important problem that we can solve as a society. And this is what motivates me, is trying to make a dent in that problem. There are a lot of reasons for that. Some of it is around the polarization from social media and political disharmony. Some of it is related to the pandemic and how a lot of people lost the ability to connect and kind of became reclusive because of the impact of the pandemic. But I believe it is solvable, and I believe that technology, properly applied, can have a great impact on that. That's what we work towards every day. There are thousands of people, 200 people at Match Group every day that try to solve the loneliness epidemic by helping make human connections or spark meaningful connections, as we say in our mission statement. And I think that's very important work.
Yeah, brilliant. And obviously you're the CEO of Match Group, so it's not just Tinder, it's Hinge, it's a variety of apps, and I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with that. Many of you will have profiles in Cambridge, which is a very small society on the apps there. How do you distinguish and categorize the portfolio that you have?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's something that we're candidly working on. This is one of my highest priorities. We have 25 different apps. They serve different customer segments for different purposes. Tinder and Hinge are quite clearly distinguished in my mind and in our users' minds. So Hinge is the app that's designed to be deleted. Hinge is supposed to be the last dating app that you ever use. Tinder is supposed to be the first dating app that you ever use. Tinder is for fun and possibilities. The mission statement at Tinder is the most fun way to spark something new with someone new. Those words are very intentionally chosen. It's the most fun way. Dating is not typically fun. Online dating is stressful, it's exhausting, it's full of challenges. Tinder is supposed to be fun, and the product tries to evoke that. That's what the brand promise is. To spark something new. The word something is very intentionally chosen for Tinder because something is meant to be kind of intentionally ambiguous. I mean, on Tinder, maybe you find a short-term relationship, maybe you find a hookup, maybe you find just a fun night out, maybe you find your soulmate. Lots and lots of people find that on Tinder. And it's supposed to be this canvas that you can sort of find what you're looking for, whatever that might be. And it might be self-discovery and exploration of yourself or your sexuality. And that's great. We welcome that on Tinder. And it's quite different than Hinge, which is meant to be intentional. The metaphor that kind of works for me on this is to think of music. So Hinge is like seeing an artist in concert. You have tickets and you are going to see that musician, that artist, that band at a particular venue. You know what you're looking for. You probably know their set list. That's a concert you're gonna go to. That's Hinge. Tinder is like going to a music festival. You go to Lollapalooza or Coachella or some other music festival. You're not really sure what you're gonna get. Like, in fact, you might not even know the whole lineup of all the artists that are gonna perform, but the experience is the journey is the point. You're gonna vibe your way through that experience, and the fun of that particular experience and the kind of world of possibilities that going to a festival opens is how we think of Tinder. So that's the positioning between Tinder and Hinge. Some of the other apps serve custom segments. Archer is our gay app. Her is our sapphic or our lesbian app. BLK is our black app. The League is probably for many of you when you get a little older. The League is the app for highly ambitious people. That's kind of how we position it. It's for the professionals out there. And then Chispa is our Hispanic app. So we have a number of demographic apps. And then we have other apps that serve the entire general population. But Tinder and Hinge as our two biggest apps, that's how I would position the two relative to each other.
And I think that's a good distinction. And I think a lot of us were familiar with Tinder, and then Hinge came about. And obviously, I think Hinge is having its moment. I think it's fair to say. Do you have any understanding of why Hinge is growing faster than Tinder at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So to scale this for you for a moment, Tinder is the #1 dating app in 166 countries, and it's about $2 billion of revenue. And Hinge is about 700 million USD of revenue. So Tinder's quite a bit bigger than Hinge, but Hinge is growing faster than Tinder. The reason is Hinge has had a very clear understanding of whom they're building for. The Hinge team understands that positioning, the product roadmap associated with it. Tinder, before I arrived 6 or 7 months ago, had sort of lost its way a little bit from a product and innovation standpoint. It had been run for maximization of profit rather than prioritizing user outcomes. And so I've changed the culture at Tinder greatly in just the last couple of months, focusing the team on user outcomes, on innovation, on long-term thinking, less on short-termism. And I believe with those changes and with enough time, we'll be able to kind of regain Tinder's mantle as the leader in the more kind of fun, spontaneous space, which is quite separate and distinct from the space that Hinge plays in. The fact that so many of you have probably used Hinge, even though you really shouldn't be on the app that's designed to be deleted, you're not ready to find your soulmate yet, it really speaks to how Tinder needs to innovate better and kind of how far afield it had gotten from its foundation. But I think as we rejuvenate Tinder, the positioning will kind of become solidified between the two.
And I think that's an interesting point. And with Hinge and Tinder, like you said, they're made to come off. Now, as a businessman, can you talk to me about the way that works? Because surely you want people to stay on the app if it's subscription-based.
Surprisingly, no. We want success. And at least I can't speak to past CEOs, but at least I want our users to be successful. And that actually means getting off the apps. And, just as some examples, so my brother and sister, my brother in Washington, D.C. just moved in with his girlfriend. He met on Hinge. He's 31. My sister in Brooklyn just moved in with her boyfriend. She met on Hinge. we will happily lose their $20 a month of revenue in exchange for them telling lots and lots of people the success they had. My brother was just at a wedding in Nantucket where the mother of the bride, in her mother of the bride speech, thanked Hinge for getting her daughter married by connecting her with her boyfriend. And one of the guests at the wedding bought a Hinge subscription for every attendee, 300 attendees at the wedding. That was the wedding gift that she bought for every attendee. So we'll happily lose $20 a month of revenue from the groom's subscription in exchange for that type of an endorsement. In that sense, we're actually a lot more like Zillow than Netflix. I mean, Netflix wants you to subscribe and never leave. Zillow wants you to use them for the 6 or 12 months when you're looking for a house, and then find your house or your apartment, and then move on and tell people you had a great experience, and that will drive word of mouth and recommendations.
Amazing. And I think a topic that does need to be covered is AI. That's a very popular topic at this university, as you know, in the current space. How does AI, how is that integrated with the apps?
I mean, it's amazing what we can now do with AI. So there was a platform shift. Whenever there's a platform shift in technology, it creates new winners, right? So the platform shift from desktop to mobile created a new category of winners. In the dating space, Match.com, OkCupid, PlentyOfFish, they were kind of early leaders in the desktop era. When the smartphone era happened, Hinge and Tinder, which were really smartphone first apps, were able to take new leadership. This is true in every category where there are mobile winners that displace desktop winners. We're now in a new era with the platform shift afoot, which is the shift towards AI. And there will be some new winners created, and some incumbent winners, like Match Group, I think will be able to get even further ahead from competition. For example, the ways in which we use AI. At the very top of the funnel, when somebody joins our apps and they create profiles, we're now using AI to improve the quality of their profiles. We're basically coaching the user on how to put their best foot forward. Towards the middle of the funnel, when we're determining your recommendation, so whom should we show to you, we're using AI to improve a recommendation algorithm. Hinge's new AI recommendation algorithm is around 15% more, higher match rate, basically better, more effective because of that. And then at the bottom of the funnel, once you've matched with people and you're chatting, we now have a host of features, including warm intros on Hinge, Are You Sure on Tinder, and many others on our other apps. These improve the quality of the conversations. So for example, if a chat has sort of died and you're no longer flirting or talking to each other, we make suggestions of what you might want to talk about using AI. So we're not composing any of the content for you. We don't want to create a dystopian future where your AI is flirting with my AI. We don't subscribe to that potential world. I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah.
But just as you might ask a friend, hey, how can I put my best foot forward on this app? We want you to be able to ask our AI suggestions in order to improve your outcomes.
Yeah, it's kind of like a helping hand.
Exactly.
When the chat gets quiet. But on that, are you not slightly worried that people will over-rely on AI and therefore create inauthentic profiles that maybe won't translate in person?
I think it depends. That is a potential. If you have the right ethics about how you use AI, I think it guards against that. So, for example, we're very careful in Hinge, for example, in profile creation. The prompt will say, what do you like to do on Sunday mornings? And if you just write brunch, our AI suggestion engine will say, well, tell a funny story about something that happened one time at brunch. And you'll say, oh, the waiter spilled a drink on me. And then the AI will say, well, what happened next? How did your friends react to that? So it's not writing it for you. It's just trying to tease better content out from you.
Yeah.
And you're still being yourself. It's quite different than Gmail, for example. Gmail now composes replies for you, right? At the bottom of Gmail, there'll be a couple auto replies. That's not what we're doing. We want people to be creative and charismatic and witty, but sometimes they need a little help, and I think we can help them with that.
Amazing. Safety is a big thing on online dating.
Yes.
How do you see the next steps of Tinder making sure that dating is safer?
It's so important. I mean, I think for a lot of companies, they think of customer support or safety as sort of this expense that's off to the side. That's something that they have to do. That's not how we think of it. We think of trust and safety as front and center, core to the product, because ultimately our product is the people. I mean, we are convening people together, and we need to make sure that those people are authentic and that they behave, and that those that are in our community can connect with each other safely with confidence. So Tinder, for example, has pioneered something called Face Check, which is now in about a dozen countries, which is a selfie verification where the photo has to match the photo on the profiles. It's not here in the UK yet. We hope it'll be in the UK soon. But that type of feature has radically improved safety on the platform. Tinder also has a lot of features to improve the quality of the chats, because one of the issues that we face is people are people, and sometimes people are inappropriate, and we need to coach them. And so we have a feature called Are You Sure? Where when a person, typically a male, writes something that might be considered offensive, or we call it too much too soon, so they kind of come on much too strong, we kind of intercept that message and suggest that they consider, we literally says, Are you sure? We sort of suggest that they might want to take it easy, slow your roll. And that's an important way to improve the safety, but also the just kind of the ambiance, I guess, of the environment that we're creating for people.
So actually maybe Tinder is helping social experiences in person as well, and what to say and what not to say.
I mean, that's the goal. If I could change anything to improve our business results and society, and you just kind of wave a magic wand, it would be to make people better. If we could just make people behave better, act better, then our business would be even more successful. Society would be in a better place. But we can play our own little part in doing that to try to coach people on how to treat one another.
So guys, if you want better social skills, head on Tinder right now. So obviously, let's look at the future of Tinder. You've got loads of new updates coming. I've spoken to my friends, they're very excited about the double date feature. Can you talk to us about that and what's coming for Tinder? Yeah,
absolutely. So this summer we launched a double date feature where two friends kind of join up inside of Tinder and then they're swiping on pairs. And this is a great feature. It's had amazing product market fit. About 10% of our users already are using double date. Of those that use it, about 90% are Gen Z, that's age 18 to 28. And it makes sense because this is how people want to connect, especially young people, because the idea of pairing up with one person and having a one-on-one chat with a stranger and then meeting them in person is pretty intimidating. It can be a little scary and intimidating. And but if you and a friend are teamed up and now you're having a group chat with 4 people and then you all decide to meet in person, it's not even really a date at that point. It's a hang. You're just kind of vibing. You're gonna hang out as a group, and that's just much lower pressure, lower stakes.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the feature has resonated so much, and it's driven a lot of people who have opinions about Tinder to reconsider Tinder, which is my job. That's our goal, is to try to convince people. Everyone has an opinion about Tinder. We have massive awareness. Everyone's heard of Tinder, but a lot of people have mixed opinions of it. And as we work to improve the trust and safety on the platform and give them new ways to use Tinder, I think we'll be able to drive reconsideration.
Brilliant. Yeah, I know. I think as well, in saying that, it's kind of there for safety as well. It's a way to make more friends. And as me and my friends would say, if it goes badly, then you've got a story kind of for the plot.
At least we had a good time. At least two friends can joke about it later.
Over dinner.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yes.
I think finally, before we turn to Q&As, I'd really like to ask, and I think for the Chamber, as an entrepreneur, and CEO of Match Group, what entrepreneurial advice would you give to young, growing entrepreneurs? And what romantic relationship advice would you give to everyone here today?
Let's see. The entrepreneurial advice is probably easier. I mean, entrepreneurial advice, find a problem that you're obsessed with, figure out how to attract great people to work on that problem with you. Do something that you're going to find really interesting and that you're passionate about, because you're going to spend more time at work than you will at home or with friends and family. So it has to be something that you care deeply about. I started my career as an investment banker, and then I moved into private equity, and neither of those careers were fulfilling for me. I wanted to build, I wanted to create, I wanted to work as part of a team. so I decided to found companies and be an entrepreneur and be in tech. And that's my passion, and I am grateful every day that I ended up leaving Wall Street to enter that career path, because it's been very fulfilling for me personally and professionally. So I hope that everybody here can find their passion and pursue it. Romantic relationship advice. Well, let's see. I met my wife first year at college. I went to school at the other Cambridge, Massachusetts, at Harvard, and we met freshman week. The first week that you were meeting your new classmates at the ice cream social, and we started dating that week, and we've been together for 32 years, married for 22. So it's been a long time since I've dated. I get a lot of knowledge about Gen Z dating trends from my daughter, who's your age. She's 20, and she's a student also at Harvard. And so the relationship advice that I give to her is to look for people that challenge her and that bring out the best in her. And if you can be lucky enough to find a partner like I have found, someone who makes me laugh, challenges me, and makes me a better person, then if you can find that and career professional fulfillment, you'll be a very lucky person indeed.
Well, let's hope Tinder gets us there.